Hi, this is episode 2 of the Compliance Coach. We have Sunday afternoon in beautiful Geneva. So we are talking about the top 10 challenges in compliance in 24. In the words of Morgan Freeman, challenge yourself. That's the only way to personal growth. We will find out what are the main topics for compliance in 24. Is it ESG? Is it data protection? Is it AI? Is it crypto? Stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe and have fun. Compliance thinking differently. Hey, this is episode 2 of the Compliance Coach. Welcome back. And today we talk about the top 10 challenges in compliance and in reversed order. However, two things that we need to take into consideration are, number one is digital transformation is still one of the hot topics in 24 and impact all our 10 topics that we see. And two is, unfortunately, all these topics are subject to more regulation. That is, I think, very important to see. So here are my number 10. And on number 10 is data protection. Data protection are all the elements around how the data of a client is protected within the bank. We had already seen a lot of issuing of regulations, 24 and 25. We know already even more to come. And that relates as well to the use of data within the bank over super apps, where you have one collecting element and it's disposed and dispatched in different areas, which of course brings good technology to the client, and the kind of journey for the client is nice. For the bank, it brings a lot of additional elements. So that's number 10. Number 9, no surprise here as well, financial crime. Most of you might have thought that would rank higher, but it's still an issue. Don't forget it. And it's not on number 9 that it means it's not there. We have 800 billion USD, which are laundered every year. And unfortunately, people are getting more sophisticated. Technologies get more sophisticated in terms of making a real threat to this bank. So 2024, we will even see that on different topics in different sections, but even with a higher effect. The same applies to fraud, which is number 8. Fraud is even worse, 1.5 billion US dollars, meaning 2,500 US dollars a minute. Can you imagine that? Here as well, we have seen over the last years a lot of improvement, unfortunately, on the side of technology, of how people are using it. So fraud is an issue, especially because it has a direct impact on clients as well on banks when we talk of reputation risks. So that's still on our top vigilant list in this year. Number 7 goes to climate change and suitability, ESG. Double impact. Number 1 is because banks are very much supporting counterparties with this with an activity that has an impact on the environment or social elements, etc. But clients as well expecting that banks are proposing products which are ESG friendly. So regulations are as well ahead. So ESG, a hot topic for 2024. Number 6 is crypto and blockchain. Yes, the crypto winter is finally gone. Bitcoin is back where it should be from the investor perspective, but it means as well that we have seen as well fraud and criminal activity taking on in that field. So I will do certainly a special item on this one. And don't forget blockchain. The digital ledger technology has become more and more powerful, even in the compliance field. In Switzerland, for instance, we have already compliance end-to-end solutions which are blockchain supported. So that should still be on our radar. Number 5 and number 4 are related because they are both with regard to the humans working in compliance. And the first one is really the search. Even some of the commenters are calling it the battle for talents. And that is why, because our job has completely changed over the last year in transformation. What does it mean? It means we need data scientists, people from different functions coming back into the compliance world. And we are competing suddenly with the Amazons, the Facebook, and name it on the market, because they have cool working places, which banks normally don't have. So we as a bank are supposed, in terms of catching up, making our work more attractive. And on the second hand, and that is what I meant beforehand on number 4, is the employees relationship, which have changed. Of course, during COVID, we were all supposed to work at home, but now it's exactly the reverse model which applies, and most banks in particular, meaning calling back their employees to come. That, of course, gives a certain new situations where you need to face it and how to implement that to be really an attractive employer for the next time. There is, I think, something that banks can in particular learn, and the numbers when you look of how many people trust their own organizations are not good. So here as well will be one of my next episodes on corporate culture, the compliance culture, in Simon Sinek's words, the big why of a company and how you can influence it even on your level. So don't forget that one. We are coming to the top 3. And on top 3, no surprise, cybercrime. And when I mentioned already beforehand the money laundering, financial crime, as well as fraud sector, here in the cybercrime, it's more particular because it's combining both words. The bad intention and the effect on fraud, but using technology. And that is really important. We saw already, or predictions in 23 were roughly about 8 trillion USD. I can't imagine that sum. And unfortunately, despite new regulations with the DORA Act coming up, it is really expected that we are still going in 2024 versus a huge threat. So cybercrime, unfortunately, is on top notch of it. Number 2, and what a surprise. This time, it's something different. It's the geopolitical pressure. We have seen even in 2024, unfortunately, globally, but as well in Europe, wars taking place. And that has an impact because banks are impacted on both ends, on client and counterparty's perspective. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to give out a number. What does it mean? So if you find something on this one, please comment and give us a topic to discuss. But it is an element which banks have to take into consideration how far that goes. And one side note on this one as well, when you see, for instance, the Russian-Ukrainian event, that has changed completely the world for compliance when it comes to international sanctions regimes. Meaning, beforehand you had one person, one company, one country, which was sanctioned. Now it's product, it's channels, it's people that are giving support in this one. It goes very far, and unfortunately the predictions are that these kind of new sanctions will be the model of the future. So certainly to be very focused on this one, and that of course has an impact on what we call the risk appetite, meaning to define with what kind of profile I want to make business, in which kind of activity I want to be presented, and last but not least, in which jurisdictions I want to be. And we are coming to the finalist, to number 1, which is, yes, you're right, artificial intelligence, which is, of course, on the top spot of everybody. Number 1, of course, as I mentioned, we have this kind of double-seated sword. Technology for banks are getting better. We're all talking about AI-supported tools, helps for the screening, data collection, as well for finding negative news, but as well for workflows, data processes, making that more smarter, more efficient. Not always meaning less compliance officers are needed, because the impact is different. Different compliance officers are needed. On the other hand, however, the same technology serves as well the criminals for being more smarter and bringing up these new technologies which are more difficult to discover. So that is, of course, something that we will see more and more. And my second note to this one is, as well as we were talking about process changes, don't forget, we have a lot of core banking systems which are not top-notch. It's the same as you would like to use your telephone, a 3G model, in a world where everybody's talking about 5Gs. That has an impact on speed, on capabilities, etc. So here as well, something to expect. I will do my next episode, especially on the AI stuff. So I hope that this short episode was interesting for you. Leave me a comment if you like it. Subscribe, and see you soon. Compliance thinking differently.